What's up, YouTube family? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky, and today's video is going to be a good one because we're going to be talking about the reasons why so many dealerships fail. Now, through the years, I've talked about several different things, but I wanted to give you my top 5 list in this particular video, so this way it gives you a better understanding of what's going on in our market. Plus, I'm going to save the best one for the end. So the rest are not in any specific order, but this last one is the most important one. Like I said, which I'll save to the end. But if you could do me a huge favor and gently squeeze the like button for the YouTube algorithm, it helps me find more amazing people like yourselves that enjoy automotive content. Also, if you consider subscribing, we do post 3 times a week, so make sure you click the notification bell to be informed of all of our amazing uploads. And once again, follow us on Instagram at automotive.life. We are doing tons of funny content, videos, stuff like that. Definitely give us a shout out on there. We do a lot of more, intimate stuff there where we're flipping cars and doing some other stuff. Definitely good content, so make sure you follow us on Instagram. And without any more shameless plugging, let's get into the video, but I almost forgot. Once again, I just want to say thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate it. I'm having a blast. I'm loving all the new viewers. Shout out to you guys if you guys are part of the new subscriber squad. For a lot of my OG followers, thanks again. We're going to be doing something fun here in a little bit. We're almost, I think we're at 44,000 subs, so we're going to get to 50 probably by the end of this month, which is awesome. So if we do, I'm going to give a giveaway. I'm not sure what it is, but we're going to do something fun and exciting, so definitely stay tuned for that. Let's get into the video. So here are the 5 reasons why I believe most dealers fail. Now, like I said, these are in no particular order, just the last one, which is the most important, which we're going to leave to the end. So what we're going to talk about right now is lack of automotive knowledge. This is a very, very big one because there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a dealer. If you've never been in the car business, you don't really know about cars and you want to get into it, that's fine. But the problem we're seeing is a lot of people, they don't continue their education. They don't get better at their craft. They just open up a dealership and expect it to make money. So what's happening is a lot of these owners come in, they don't do any type of training. They don't know anything about car business. They either get ripped off by their salespeople, which they don't understand how the actual sales work in the automotive industry. Another one, they don't understand finance. They don't take the time to learn how to deal with banks and how to do financing and everything else, and it winds up biting them in the butt because they don't understand it. On top of that is the actual cars themselves. We talk about it all the time. We make fun of them. It's a lot of knuckleheads that never bought in cars before that just scan the car, look at their phone. Oh, MMR says 10 grand. 10 grand, they raise their hand. They don't look at the condition of the car. If the car has issues, if it's making certain noises, if certain check engine lights are on, they don't understand what this all means. Now I'm not saying you have to be a master mechanic, but I'm telling you owners right now, stop being prissy, get underneath the hood, learn about cars, see how they work, know how a cooling system works. If one component fails, what does this mean? I can't tell you how many times I've bought in cars where they said it was a head gasket and it was a stuck thermostat. Chrysler 200s, a lot of people don't know this, but they have 2 thermostats. We used to buy these cars overheating all the time because everybody's like, oh, I switched the thermostat and it's still overheating. It's a head gasket, it's the water pump, I don't want to mess with it. We just buy it, $40, we could put the 2 new thermostats in there, roll the car out. But if you don't gain this type of automotive knowledge, you're going to be behind a lot of the people. So that's why you see these old school cats, you guys make fun of him. It's the old guy in overalls, struggling, walking around, but he's a real car guy. He's not some guy wearing Gucci flip-flops and $600 jeans walking around the auction talking about how he's making so much money. It's literally the guy that looks like a destitute hillbilly that's going to be crushing you at the auction. He probably has 10 times the amount of money in the bank than what you do. So take a little bit of his lead, learn about the cars, learn how to actually work on them. If you want to take some automotive classes over the weekend, do it. Even that, talk to your mechanics, sit with them, say, hey, what are the most common problems you see in vehicles? Like Chrysler's, perfect example. We don't touch anything that has a 7 at the end of it. So that's a 1.7, 2.7, 3.7, 4.7, even the Hemis, which is a 5.7. Anything with a Chrysler with the last numbers of 7 liters in the back of it, don't even touch it. It's bad juju. But you won't know that unless you actually do that. Another one is a lot of the 7 Series. They have speed sensor problems, for the transmissions. If you don't know this, you'll think the transmission's bad. We replace the speed sensor, which is $40, and it's driving like fine. But learn these things from your mechanic and gain that automotive knowledge. So this way you can be a little bit more successful when you're buying cars, which will long run help you save money on your recon, which will set you up for success. Because like I said, a lot of these dealers overpay for cars. They bury themselves, get in trouble with their lines of credit and everything else, and then they pick the wrong cars, and it's just a big headache. So make sure you stay up on your automotive knowledge and continue your education. Just because you got your license doesn't mean you know it all. And even if you've been doing this for 2-3 years, you can still learn a lot more. So definitely take the time and learn about the cars. Now, the second thing we're going to talk about are lines of credit. Now, they're called flooring lines, but I always say lines of credit because it's easier for people to understand, because when they hear me say floor lines, they think I'm talking about something else. But lines of credit are one of the big things that hurt a lot of dealers, especially the small ones when you first start up. So, perfect example. A floor line is a blessing and a curse. These lines of credit can get you massive $400,000 or $500,000 lines where you can access cars right away, but then you get smashed with fees. So let's say you are a small dealer, you got a $100,000 line of credit, and you just want to buy a few cars here and there to sell. You buy a nice car for $1,500 at the auction. Well, now you have your $200 sales fee. You have your $200 flooring fee, which it charges you as soon as you put on the line, and then you're paying $75 a month plus whatever, let's say 7 to 10% interest. So let's say you sell that car in 30 days. That car just cost you almost $2,000. But you're like, well, I only bought it for 15. I should be profiting more money. No, you lost $500-600 just from the second of flooring it on there. You could sell it the very next day and it'll still lose about maybe $400 or $500 extra on top of that. So you'll be at $1,900. So, it's not that bad once you get started, because you'll see the fees and you'll see that coming. It's when the payments and the curtailments hit you. That's what destroys most dealers. So they get excited, they get these lines of credit, and they go out and they buy maybe 5-10 cars one auction. They buy another 5-10 cars at the other auction. What they don't understand is, depending on how your payments are set up, every 30 days you have a payment due. And if you buy 4 or 5 cars at the same time, those payments are going to keep coming due. So let's say you buy these 10 cars and you spend $1,000 on each one fixing it up. Now you're in this car you're out $10,000, but then at the end of 30 days, you still haven't sold it. Now you got to pay an $800 curtailment on the car. You don't have the money. So now there's another, almost $10,000 due, $8,000, let's say. And then right after that, next week, you got another, for the 5 cars you bought the week before, there's another $800 due for each car, and there's another curtailment. So little by little, they get further and further behind, and they get in trouble with their flooring companies or the lines of credit. And once you're late, when you're late on a car loan, it's no big deal. You could have 30 days to get back on it. Even if you're late for 2 months, they'll still work with you. When you're late with these lines of credit, you got 7 days. If you don't give them 7 days, they are going to snatch up all their cars. They're going to show up with tow trucks. They're going to block off your lot, and they're going to take all the cars off your lot. So it's very important that you don't play around with these lines of credit. You need to make sure you buy very little, as much as you can, and only buy the cars that you know you could sell. If they have mechanical issues and problems, unless you have a shop, don't even touch them. Stay away from them. Buy cars that are green light, that are clean, that you could liquidate quickly so you don't have those problems. Because I see a lot of my friends, they see what we do. We buy wrecked, damaged cars, or even sometimes cars with blown motors, blown trannies, but we have a full service shop. We knock them out and we get them out there. That's what we do. So they'll try to, well, this guy bought it for $3,000 back a book with a $500 repair. I'm going to do it. They burn up a month and a half fixing the car. They wind up paying almost double for the curtailments and interest fees and everything else, and then they finally sell and they don't make any money. So do not buy damaged cars on your lines of credit. It's very important unless you're set up for that. And once you get started, try to stay under about 30% of your lines of credit. So this way, every 90 days, try to ask for an increase. So this way you don't put yourself in harm's way, and always renegotiate for better terms. A lot of these dealers sign up and they never renegotiate terms. And then the companies or the banks are just smacking you with interest and fees everywhere you go. And also read your contract. I can't tell you how many dealers we will go out to where we actually read their contracts in front of them, tell them how much they're paying, and they don't believe us. We have to show them bank statements at the end of the year of what they paid to these companies minus what they actually bought the cars for. And some of these things, it could be anywhere from a $30,000 to a $200,000 discrepancy. It's insane. So make sure you do that. Like I said, lines of credit, they're a blessing and a curse. Please take your time, learn about them, and let's get to the next one. The third thing we're going to be talking about is sales tax. Now, a lot of people get in trouble with the sales tax things because they don't set it up for monthly payouts. They do quarterly, they do annually, whatever else. And there are some dealers that are very successful holding on the money. They're like, well, I sold whatever X amount of dollars of cars. I have $30,000 in my sales tax bank account. I'm going to try to use this money to flip it, and then I'll use the proceeds from that to pay my sales tax down the road. So they keep kicking the can down the road, and they get in trouble. They don't have the capital to pay it, and at the end of the month or at the end of the year, they owe the IRS, got, I don't know, $100,000, $200,000, and now they have this massive bill, they can't figure it out. And then usually you don't get audited your first year, you usually get audited your second year. And what happens is they give you enough time to hang yourself. So if you've been doing little things, not paying sales tax here and there, by the time your second year audit comes up, they're gonna be like, oh, well, geez, you missed 2 cars this year, you paid this car late, you paid this car late, here's a $100,000 fine. So you owe us, instead of $250, you owe us $350. Plus we're gonna add interest on there because you're gonna be late and everything else. So by the time you're done, you owe the IRS maybe $400,000 for everything else, and there's no way to get out of it. You have to hire a tax attorney, it's a big headache, you know, you're chasing your money. So my advice when you're a new dealer and you're first starting up, pay your sales tax monthly. Don't ever get behind. And also there is a sales tax and a usage tax. So for some of you people that say, well, I live in Oregon or something, I don't have sales tax, you do have usage tax. You just need to find out what it is and make sure you pay it. So every time you put parts on cars, you do something else, advertising, you are gonna get charged a usage tax. So make sure you get a CPA. I highly recommend one. And if you ask other dealers, hey, who do you guys use for your accounting? Most CPAs that work with dealerships have multiple dealerships, so this way we know that we got it down pat. Just don't use some guy that's 20 bucks off of Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist that says that he does accounting from his bedroom. It's probably just some guy with Microsoft Office spreadsheets or QuickBooks, and he's doing your books. Get a real CPA that works with dealerships and set yourself up right, because like I said, there's nothing worse than in 2 years you go out of business because you don't understand how to do your taxes and everything else. And like I said, it's one of those things where the government, there is no budging. Once they see you owe them that much money, they're going to come collect it and it's going to be over. So sales tax is a big thing. Let's get on to the next one. So reason number 4 of why so many dealerships go out of business is the lack of financing. Now what I mean by this is we're not talking about lines of credit or anything else. It's the opportunity to sell cars, which is like banks. If you're doing bank financing, if you're doing other type of lending, a lot of these dealers either don't have it, they're relying on cash sales, or they're relying on buy here, pay here, which is fine on some cases if you have the liquid capital, you know, but they don't have that many banks. Or if you do have 1 or 2 banks and you don't search for more. So when I was a small dealer and I only had like 30, 40 cars, I had 27 banks. All my friends used to laugh. Every bank that came into town, I signed up with them because I never knew where my next deal was. And a lot of times I would send deals out and these bankers would give me special deals. Well, look, we haven't gotten a deal all month. Okay, well, here's a deal. Take this one, I'll send you another one right after this one. They'll bend over backwards trying to close that one deal per month so they can keep your books open, which leads to one more sale for you. So that's how we're able to squeeze out 30, 40 sales when we had a small lot. A lot of these dealers, once they sign up with 1 or 2 banks, they always do the bankers, oh, give us all your deals and we'll be friendly with you. Do not trust the bankers. The only thing the banker cares about is his commission making off your deals. Now, every banker makes about 25 to 55 bucks per deal off of whatever deal you send them. So they will always say, we'll take all your deals, just only send your deals to us and blah, blah, blah. But what happens is these banks buy like this. If the market's good, you know, they'll buy steadily and then all of a sudden they have some default rates, they drop it. And then all of a sudden default goes down, they start lending again. And it's just this up and down roller coaster. You guys need to be aware of this and know how it works so this way you don't get caught with your hand in a cookie jar, because I've had friends that like get rid of all their banks and get one bank and they give all the deals to them and they got a really good partnership. And then one day that bank closes. Now they're screwed. Their whole business plan is off of one bank and they don't know what to do. So if you're watching this and you're a small dealer or a large dealer, you need to have quite a few banks for everything. You want to have some deep subprime, mid-prime, and then your prime customers. You know, when we talk about deep subprime, we're talking like 300 to 400 credit scores. You know, because Westlake, as we guys know, they charge massive fees if you want to buy a deal. But there are banks in different states that buy really deep each one of these. You need to have 5 in every category minimum, just so you can stay ahead of the curve. If you have a lot of prime customers, go get Cuddle, which is credit union direct lending. You can get on there and you have a portal now to multiple credit unions all over the United States that you can send deals to, and you can make way more money. And you can actually get back-end money, which is pretty much eliminated across the board on every other bank. But your financing is key for you to selling more cars. So if you're looking at this right now and you only have 5, 6 cars, sign up every single bank that will possibly sign you up, because you know, you're only as good as what your lending power is. So the more banks you have, the more opportunities you have to sell a car, the more successful you'll be. So we're at the last reason on why most car dealerships go out of business, and this should be the first one, is failure to change. I get this all the time, especially with some of the older demographic, as well as a lot of these newer kids that just think they know everything. Now, I'm the first to tell you, I honestly don't know everything. I take knowledge from dealers that I talk to, training sessions I've been into. You know, I'm always trying to learn what everybody's doing in different markets, so this way we can apply it more successfully to other areas. But this is something that a lot of dealers, unfortunately, don't have the opportunity to do. They don't know what works in different states, different areas, and that's how we leverage our knowledge. But that's why I created this channel, is to share this information with you. So a lot of dealers, they get stuck in this thing like, I only want to do, and this is a bad one, I only want to do Highline cars. I only want to do Mercedes and BMWs. And so they get stuck. They sell 5 or 6 cars, they break even, but they know that maybe if I do more, I'll get better. After 6 months, if you're not making a lot of money doing Highline cars, stop it. Go buy some cheap buckets, start selling buckets. Your market may be a cheap car market. There may be 70 other people out there doing Highline cars that, you know, that are making the money, and you're just one more added onto the batch. But there may be only 20 dealers doing affordable cars. There's more need for affordable cars. You know, same thing, vice versa. If you're doing cheap cars and you're not selling, try to do maybe a little bit more expensive cars. You know, you need to get out of your comfort zone. You need to test areas every now and then. When we started selling cars, I thought that, you know, when I first opened up, every car I had was under 10 grand. We were selling a lot of cars. I thought that was the key. One day I bought a Camaro. It was a clean car. It was really cheap, so I thought I'd throw it up there. Sold it in a day. Bought 2 more cars, like Altimas, low mileage, sold it again. So I figured, okay, I need to test my market some more. So I bought some cars that were, you know, 15 to 20,000, and then I bought a few cars that were 30,000 and over. $30,000 and overs didn't sell in my market, but that sweet spot of like 20 to 15K or 12K was selling all day long. That's when we decided to move our dealership and go that route. But you're never gonna know that unless you actually change. You know, a lot of these dealers get so caught up in like, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 5 years and I know exactly what I'm doing. No, you don't, because if you did, you would be constantly changing, constantly evolving. Social media doesn't stay the same, so why should you? If everything around you is completely different and you're still doing the exact same thing you did 10 years ago, it's not working. Like I said, MySpace was a great thing, but guess what? I bet you nobody watching this video is still on MySpace. So you need to get with the times, you need to change, you need to be open to something different. You know, and also take advice from other people. I don't know what happened, but every dealer swears they know everything and they're smarter than everybody. Every time we go to the auction, I sit there and I talk to the guys. How's the market doing? What are you saying? Give me your opinion. You know, even in the comment section below when you guys make messages, I don't dismiss them and say anything. A lot of times I'll ask them, oh, what market are you in? You know, what's going on in your area? You know, tell me why you think I'm wrong. I'd love to learn your reasons, is because every market is different and everybody has something that they do better than somebody else. So who am I to say that maybe, like perfect example, I have a friend of mine, he flips motorcycles. I'm way better at him at cars, but he's way better than me at motorcycles. So when it comes to that stuff, I listen to him because he's an expert. I am not. Every dealer, if you talk to them, they always swear that they're smarter than everybody else and they're better than everybody else. But then those are the same guys that have a tiny little lot with 5 cars and they don't have any money and they don't have any flooring lines, or they burned them all, or they're getting ready to get out of the business, or they only last like 2-3 years because they're smarter than everybody. So please be open, guys. You know, there's nothing wrong with sharing information. I don't know what happened, if there's this dealer's code, maybe I didn't read about it, where you have to wish ill will towards every other dealer and you want to see them fail. There's way more money in the world than we ever need, and there's way more pie than we're ever going to eat. So you can split up your pie however you want and give people pieces of it. It's not that big of a deal. I just don't know why every dealer has to be an asshole towards another dealer. Like, to be honest with you, the main reason why our classes and some of our stuff is so successful is because I know that no other dealers will train people. You can go up to any dealership right now and say, hey, you know what? I want to work underneath you. I'll learn from you. I want to open up my own dealership. First of all, they'll never hire you, or they'll tell you it's impossible, or it's really hard, and then they'll try to kick you off the business. They will never tell you, hey, you should try it. Come hang out with me. I'll show you the ropes. Never do. Never happen. The only time it's going to happen is when they're too old in the business and they want to sell their business to you, and they're hoping that they'll take you over and basically screw you over with their old business that's failing. So, you know, please be open to change, learn as much as you can, and see what you can do from there. And always share the wealth. Like I said, if you have any tips in the comment section, please put them. I truly appreciate it. I think everybody needs to learn from everybody. We do have our Facebook group, which is listed in the comment section below. If you're a dealer, car rental, auto repair, body shop, whatever it is, anything in the automotive industry, please sign in there, say hello, talk about what you're doing, take pictures of your shop, your dealership, share it with other people, because I truly believe we can learn something from everybody. Anyways, if you guys have learned anything, please gently squeeze the like button. It helps me out a lot because, like I said, I'm doing all this out of my pocket. You guys can't see, but I have a studio and everything else. I just bought some equipment. We're going to be doing some how-to videos, like how to weld, how to fabricate, how to fiberglass, do some other cool stuff that we got going on behind me, which I'll show you later. Also, please consider subscribing. We are coming up with a lot more cool stuff here very soon, so stay tuned for that. And once again, follow us on automotive.live, and we'll see you next video.